I had a coworker who was a one guy, and to me, I want to say young kid, but he was like in his 20s, and he, from my understanding, like the story may be a bit tough because I didn't write it down, you guys, so please forgive me, but he was on a motorcycle without correct like tags on it, which that's his fault. We gotta own up to what we do, you guys. We gotta own up. We understand that. But the whole situation of how it was handled on the other side with the police departments was not okay, even though he had wrong tags. He did run from the police. In North Carolina, you have a no chase law, and he was far away where the cop should not have kept chasing him. And he ended up chasing him, and he ended up getting killed right in front of the shop. And I guess the lady pulled out and didn't see him, and she hit him, and he went flying. And it was death per impact. Now, the guy who passed away was like a guy full of life. He came from in the middle of the country, from my understanding, it was Colorado. His family's from New Mexico and Colorado, but he came from Colorado with his girlfriend, and he literally stayed, and he just moved out here in North Carolina to start fresh, and he loved motorcycles, like absolutely adored them. He loved the speed. He was a sport biker. He just enjoyed the thrill of it, and he was staying up for a bike there was a bike sitting outside, and it was his bike. And they didn't cover the body right away. So he came out because it was actually during working hours, like right before they closed. And he comes out and he heard the noise and he sees it as his employee. And the guy passed away right there, but they left the body open for like 45 minutes. Now I'm still doing investigations of exactly the story. He gave me a whole lot more details, and to be honest with you, I was so emotional just by the story itself that I probably have some loose old hands because of my emotional standpoint at that time. So please forgive me if there's holes in the story. I'll get more of the story and tell more later. I'm just gonna be frank, but I was pissed off by the end of the conversation, and I wanted to like barge into the Fayetteville Police Departments and say, "What were you thinking?" Um, and so at that point, they didn't cover the body, and I guess the ambulance got there to take care of it. And the police officer was young, and he just started, but he didn't wait. He waited till superiors got there to get the ambulance in, instead of letting the ambulance go and take care of his stuff. And so, yeah, I was pissed. I was so mad. And at that point, I looked at him and I said, "Well, I don't know what I can do. I'm traveling right now. I'm trying to, I want to barge in to the police department and sit there and sit down with them and say, why? Why would this be handled this way?" And I knew that if I do come back, I would have to spend a good month or so in Fayetteville. I know I have to keep traveling. I know it's Operation One, but sometimes your gut's like, you need to go back. And so I've been deciding on how I'm going to handle this, and hopefully in the future I'll tell you. I have things planned out and stuff, but some things may come up where it's like, listen, you need to stay. You need to figure out ways to make things work there, or see what's going on. And so right now I'm still investigating to see if we should stay in Fayetteville for a bit longer. Um, either in the summertime or the springtime. It's so sad to not only lose an employee but also a friend, a new person to the biker community. And I do know they did a ride for him. They did a beautiful cross, and it was like motorcycle parts welded together. And I sat there and I said, it's amazing this piece that they allowed you to put this, because in Florida, a biker was trying to get different signs for motorcyclists. They wanted to put different ways so you can see how many bikers have died compared to car accidents. But not only that, they wanted to put a thing there that talked about the biker's life. So that way you knew who passed away there and not just the cross. You know what I mean? Like you knew the person's face. And they got declined. They got pushed down. And I looked at him and I'm standing there in Fayetteville and I'm like, you know, if anything, I love this cross. Like, if we could do this for the bikers, if there's some way for us to be able to find a way to assist this when it comes to motorcycle crashes, maybe we can spray paint them like bright colors so people can see them, because it was hard to see. I didn't notice until he pointed it out. But I said, this is a beautiful remembrance of his spot where he passed. He goes, well, I really wanted him to cross the street, but that's private property. And I said, I get that. But I really wanted, it was just a beautiful cross. And the life he's going to keep living through the owner who knew him, through his girlfriend, or I think it was his fiance. Don't get me wrong, please don't quote me, that passed away. It's something we have to sit there and think about. It's never easy. Yes, he should have not ran probably from the police. We should have, could have, would have, but that's not now happened. And at that time, flight or fight response came in. And so, do we sit there and punish the death? Do we sit there and go, okay, we can't support that? But how do we look into things that go like this? As an organization, not only do I want to sit there and defend, my bikers and be with them and walk with them, but I also want to sit there and go, how do we do better? The biker should be still alive today. Let's be frank. Even though what he was doing was not probably so good, but he should still be alive today. This shouldn't have happened. And mind you, in life, our higher power knows when we're supposed to go. And it's not an easy conversation to have. But how do I sit there and help more when it comes to situations where the biker's at fault? It's a tough conversation, and I'm never going to sit there and stop it. I'm never going to sit there and not stand next to a biker, even if they're at fault, in any circumstance. We still want to remember their life. They're still a human being that we stand next to. It's just emotionally hard. And so I want to do, at this end of the podcast, I want to do a moment of silence for him. And also the other riders that we've lost this year. If we'll do a good 5-minute moment of silence, it'll be a good hold. And I want us to sit there and take some time to reflect on don't reflect on how they passed away. Reflect on how they lived. Remember a memory of them. Remember them. If you need to, take your motorcycle. If it's beautiful outside and it's not snowing, well, still, if you can, do burnouts. Go outside and do a burnout. Unfortunately, I cannot cover the pay for your tire. I wish I could. But if you can, do a burnout for them. Go for a ride tomorrow. Go for their favorite ride that they love to do. Live in their memory and take that time out. The Christmas time, holiday times are not easy. It's one of the highest times for suicide rates. Let's support each other. Let's care for each other. Let's sit there and these individuals wouldn't want you to stop living. They would want you to keep riding. They keep getting on that seat and feel the wind in your hair and keep building friendships. Because being a rider and being a biker is not just getting on those two seats. It's an emotional standpoint. It literally is codes that you live by. It's something that you guys have held on for so long that, to me, it's coming in as a new individual as well. Amelia's been in it for years, but me coming in new, it's like I want to appreciate and just hug those things and hold those things to my heart and make sure none of it gets damaged. So take that time out tomorrow. Take the time out. Go for a ride. Do something for that person that you passed away that was a rider. Even motorcycle enthusiasts, if they pass away and they implement it on your heart somehow, do something for that. Go for a ride. Do a burnout. Take a moment of silence that we're going to do in a few. And remember, we're here to make a difference. It's a tough conversation to have. And I pray that we learn, number one, to celebrate their lives more with how motorcycles do it, but also for us to be able to be better people when it comes to circumstances like what happened with that young guy in Fayetteville. It's not okay. It's not okay that his body was left out there for 45 minutes or more. It's not okay that no one covered his body up right away. It's something that we have to talk about. It's not okay that he's not around anymore. And there's a lot of riders that are not around anymore. And that's not okay either. But let's keep living for them. Keep getting on those two wheels. Keep going on those journeys. Carry them with you somehow, even if it's a thought. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a blessed night. Take care.